Hi there, this is the start of our container home project and our very own small holding here in the beautiful French Pyrenees. Hi, welcome to our new channel. I'm Julie.
And I'm Ian. And a little bit about us. We've been living in the French Pyrenees for the past 16 years. We moved out here in 2004 after buying an old rundown farmhouse, which this is it. Renovated the house, we set up our cycle touring business. We set this up as a chambre d'hôtes, as they say in France, but basically a cycling guest house. So far everything's going great.
Although this past year we've had quite a lot of time to think about our future with COVID, the pandemic, travel restrictions, and as you can imagine. So we got thinking, what's life going to look like after our current business and in the next 5 to 10 years leading towards retirement?
So far we put everything we had into our current setup. So any savings we had, the small amount left over from the sale of our UK house, we put into this business. And seeing as we've been self-employed in a lifestyle business, as our accountant keeps reminding us of, there's been pretty much zero thought for retirement and pretty much zero cash for the planning of pensions in the future. So we thought, right, this is it, we need to do something. So we've always loved the idea of a container house, self-sufficiency, living off grid, and so even before moving to France, we fantasized over buying a small farm in the UK, but at the time the prices were just too expensive for us, and it was just a dream.
Yeah, so our plan is to find a plot of land locally to where we are. We do have family close by, our son Lewis and his partner Audrey, and our little granddaughter Margot, and soon February we should have a little grandson.
And also the other point is that we want to carry on building our new house while still working. So we can't be miles away, we can't get in the car and drive an hour to a plot, start working after a full day's work here. But luckily our work here is seasonal and it's between April and October, so we should have most of the winter months to work on the property. So any chance we get, we're going to be going to site, we're going to be working on the build, and as well as preparing our current land for veggie planting, etc., which leads on to what we have now.
Yeah, a few years ago we bought a piece of land at the back of our house, which we've rented ever since we moved to the village, off a local farmer. From a little old man Tyson, he's been with us for a long time. He's an Irish cob pony that we've owned 24 plus years now, so he's got to be over 30. Yeah, we brought him over from the UK to Holland, and then from Holland down here to France where we are now. We've used the land purely for grazing up to this point, but we've thought, why not develop it and try and start a little small holding homestead. I'm not sure what term to use it, we're European, but we'll go with homestead for now, it seems to be popular. It is 0.8 of a hectare, around 2 acres, so it's pretty good size, and it's pan flat, so it's perfect.
So we're going to start to section it off, because even though it's only 2 acres, it's still quite daunting if you start planting it as a veggie patch. So we're going to install a shelter, we're going to upgrade the water, so we're going to put in some water recuperation, a couple of tanks. We're going to put in a small polytunnel, and we've had that for years and years, but I've never got around to actually installing it.
Which is another good reason for these videos, to give us some direction and planning instead of just sitting around the house thinking about it.
We are intrigued by the whole no-dig concept. We've just been watching video after video on it, which is good for us because we seem to dig all the time and we're just covered in weeds all the time. We're going to be experimenting with that and hopefully putting up some videos how we create those. Got the fencing we've got to put in, that'll be interesting. We do have the fence posts, but we don't have what goes in between, and as we are in confinement at the moment, it's going to be quite difficult to get. We're going to start our chicken production as well. We've always wanted chickens, but because we go away for such long periods of time in the summer, we've always thought it's a bit difficult. but with a bit of automation, with doors, feeders, and also that we live so close to our son now, he'll also be able to look after them when we are away. If anybody has any ideas on what types of breeds of chicken, it'd be great, because we did try some before when we did live in Holland and it was just awful. So any ideas, please stick it down in the comments below. That'd be great.
So that's the plan for the land that we have now. We've also been using this quiet period searching everywhere for a building plot. We've looked at around 50 plots, all different sizes and locations, but for us it's crucial it needs to fit within our budget, which at this time is even more limited due to the current situation with COVID and travel restrictions and lack of income. It's hit us hard this year. It really has. So we're being realistic with what we can afford.
So we've narrowed it down to 2 plots, and they're very close to us. Both are being sold by the local mayor, or the mayors of the villages. They're fixed prices and there's no negotiation. I have the initial design. We found one plot in a local village that we love. I put all my efforts and work into the design, put the design together, put in the application to the mayor of that village. Not an official application, but just to let her have a good look at it and have her say. Because the mayors in France here have a huge role in deciding what's going to be built or what's not going to be built, even though the actual real application goes to the planning department of the local town, who make the final decision. Another plot has just come up, and it's a more recent find, and it's just given us a dilemma, a big dilemma. They're exactly the same size. As we said, we have to fit within the budget. And we're not talking huge. It's 1,600 square meters, both of them, which is about 0.4 of an acre. But plot number 2 is only 3 kilometers from here, which is about just under 2 miles. And it's only 1 kilometer from my son's house. And it's only 100 meters from the school gates where our grandkids will actually go to in a few years' time. Plus, the most important thing, it's actually 1/3 cheaper than plot number 1. And the mayor of that village has said we can put on a reservation deposit, which is normal here in France. It's called a compromise de vente. But the mayor of plot number 1 said we can't put a reservation. Plot number 2 also has it's not in direct view, but you can see it, and this puts us into the Monuments of France territory, so a bit more difficulty. So you can see our dilemma between the 2 plots.
So we want to keep the same concept of the 2 40-foot high cube containers with a central section to make it wider, built from timber frame.
But if anybody has got any suggestions of the house, you know, of construction, etc., then just leave suggestions down in the comments below. That'd be great. We're going to plan on doing everything ourselves. We did all of this renovation ourselves. We did about 60% of the house build in the UK ourselves. So we've done the design, the drawings, and now we're just about to do the building permit with the mayors.
If only we could decide which plot we want.
But here in France, anything below 150 square meters, 1,600 square foot, you can actually self-build without an architect. The architect doesn't have to sign off the plans. And our house is 84 meters squared, so about 900 square foot, so we're well within the regulations. We're planning as much self-sufficiency as we can. We're going to follow the passive house designs or guidelines. We're going to super insulate, we're going to have heat recovery, and I'm going to go into all of this hopefully in another video when we get further into the actual physical design of the house. But we're going to transplant our current electric solar system that we've only just installed here. So I'll put in a mini one while we build over the next few years, but then when we move properly, we'll then transplant this system over, just to save money. Anything we can do to save money. We're going to put in new water system, new hot water system, probably with a heat pump. We really want to do rainwater recovery as well. In France, you legally have to connect to the water company for drinking water. But I'd love to know if anybody else has done that here in France, how they got around the rules or just did they just not tell them? And if anybody has done a full water recovery system from the roof into tanks through filters, it'd be great to know. The more information I can find, the better.
So this is going to be a long-term project, so we're going to fund the build as we go whilst running our current business. We are all crossing our fingers that this will get back to normal next season. Once the build is completed, we'll then think about selling the business and everything that we've built up over the years to allow us to retire to the new house, and
then we'll just take on the role of dedicated oldies picking up the grandkids from school.
Yeah, Dotty Julie becomes Dotty Grandma Julie. We're going to retain the field and we're going to keep that and develop it into a flourishing small holding homestead. Although it'll be it'll be separate from the new house, but it's not going to be too far away. And it'd be nice actually, because we'll still be connected to this village, which
we've made a lot of friends, and
we love it. We love the village where we live. It's small, we know everybody. After 16 years, we're actually, I think they think we're French now.
It's the longest place we've ever lived in our lives.
So. Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
So I think that's all our plans. And in our next video, we'll start the projects. So in our field, our plans for the new house, etc. Any news on our building, we'll let you know. We do have a call and a meeting with both mayors in the next week or so. So hopefully I have an update on that, and that may decide which plot we go for. I just hope they like our design. I haven't even told them that it's actually made out of containers yet.
That's something we are going to keep quiet.
Keep it quiet.
As far as the Frenchies need to know.
Wood and a metal frame construction.
Just have to choose our words carefully.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll get better at this video. And this is our first attempt, so bear with us. Okay. So we are newbies to this, but don't forget to start us off and subscribe below. And if you've got any suggestions about chickens, water systems, our 2 plots of land, which you prefer and why and everything, just put your comments below, and yeah, we'll see you next time.
Well, see you next time.